Hi folks, so I'm back with some Elder Scrolls Online tonight, just checking everything's working okay. That all looks good. Okay. Cool, so last time we had just made a start on Morrowind after Finish Orsinium, and we'll be carrying on with that. As before, we're just going to focus on the main quests. There's loads of side quests and loads of zones we've got to catch up on at some point. And I've not even looked at Cadwell Silver and Gold, so seeing the other alliances quests from that point of view. Because I want to try and get as much of the story done before Greymoor starts. I won't get all of it done because there's Morrowind, Clockwork City, Somerset Isles. I've done Northern Elsewhere, but I've still got to do Southern Elsewhere. So, lots and lots to do. And as I tend to only play this on stream, I can't put enough time in to do it all. So I'll have to make a decision when Greymoor comes out as to whether or not I am going to start Greymoor straight away or wait until I catch up with that point in the story. Now that's quite the view, isn't it? We're at Vivec City. Do like that. Right. Okay, I've got to talk to this guy.
The Outlander returns. I understand there was trouble at the construction site, but you were able to save a few of the workers. Lord Vivec always draws the straightest arrow from the quiver. Praise the tribunal. Did you bring the Blessing Stone?
I have the Blessing Stone.
Stand over there. In Canon Level's absence, you will form the third corner of our ritual triangle. When you're ready, place the Blessing Stone, and we'll begin the ritual.
Okay. Given that Vivec is a living god, this could be interesting.
Hear the words of the warrior poet, and reveal the source of Lord Vivec's distress. An Ashlander? A clockwork mage? A Daedric cultist?
Ooh. That wasn't good.
Something interfered with the ritual, my lord. But we may have learned something. Excuse me while I compare the results to our previous research.
Ooh. Well, what do you make of that, Lord Vivec?
Between the cryptic warnings of the ancestor spirit and the unexpected result of the divination ritual, I fear there may be more astir than I imagined. We solved the greatest mysteries by accident, I suspect. I should write that down.
Something went wrong during the ritual. Did you learn what you'd hoped?
We learn from every action we take. Failure or success, each result teaches us something, at least in the larger sense. To be more specific, no, not as much as I hoped.
But there were images in the ritual.
Images that suggest avenues to investigate, riddles to solve. Let me tell you a secret, Outlander. It concerns a living god, an energy that fades like daylight as dusk spreads across the land.
I don't understand, Lord Vivec.
Listen well, and speak not a word. My divine energy, it drains away. Whether from illness or foul malady, I know not. You must travel the land and seek answers on my behalf. But first, gratitude before service, as I have written. So thank you.
Ooh. Deals oblivion damage based on a portion of the enemy's maximum health. That's not bad.
The ritual confirmed my worst fears. Divine energy flows out of me for no reason that I can discern. I felt the power imbued within my blessing stone get wrenched away as soon as you added it to the ritual. I couldn't stop it.
You're losing divine energy. How is that possible?
To quote my own words as the warrior poet, no lock exists that the determined thief cannot open. Follow the trail of my missing energy, and try to discover the identity of the enemy Levol's ancestor warned us about.
You think an enemy is responsible for your energy loss?
Something drains my energy. Find Archcanon Tarvas in his office, and ask if he gleaned anything useful from the ritual. If not, I know his earlier research indicated new avenues to investigate. Go where he tells you, and learn what you can.
I'll torch to the Archcanon.
My divine energy diminishes with every passing moment, but the ritual confirmed my affliction is not natural. I regret that I could not reveal the full nature of these dire circumstances until your trustworthiness had been demonstrated.
I'm not sure Archcanon Tarvas shares your assessment of me.
Yes. Well, Archcanon Tarvas has always been cautious about ideas and ideologies that didn't originate within the Tribunal. And recently, that prudence has grown 1,000-fold. He's a faithful servant, however, despite his narrow-mindedness.
What do you mean that your divine energy has diminished?
I've always used my power freely and without detriment. I create the blessing stones, hold the moonlit above the city, and perform 100 miracles a day to benefit my people. I begin to feel the toll this liberal application of divinity costs me.
Do you think you're in danger?
I care little for my own safety, but my people are another matter. Without my power to stop it, the moonlit will crash into the city and kill hundreds, perhaps thousands of innocents. And that would be just the start of Vardenfell's woes.
You suspect the affliction isn't natural?
At first, I barely noticed the loss of energy. But as I continue to grow weaker, the more it feels like an attack against my person. Besides, the Ancestor Spirit confirmed that an ancient enemy was to blame. We just need to determine who, before...
Before?
Let us not dwell on disasters to come when we have problems enough to deal with in the here and now. Consult with Archcanon Tarvas and discover the source of this attack. Then we can put an end to it and not worry about what might have been.
What does the rest of the Tribunal think about all this?
They always chide me about my flagrant displays of divinity. But so far, I am the only one of the living gods whose power is fading. Almalexia hoards her energy and has barricaded her temple against attack. As for Sophocil...
What about Sophocil?
My brother travels. We have not heard from him for quite some time, but I sense that he remains safe and in possession of his full power. Funny. You always wanted to discover the limits of our divinity. Perhaps I will solve that mystery for him.
Bowser. Okay. Now I hadn't noticed the moonlit. Oh, let's pay more attention. Oh. Yes. That would be bad. Why it's there when it's not, for example, casting any light, I don't know. I think maybe a picture. So, controls. Let's see. Environment, toggle full screen mode, alternate enter, take shrink. Right, UA on and off, number divide, and print screen for take a screenshot. So, there we go. Actually, let us get rid of, well, let's select another pet now we're here. That was really a pet for Orsinium. I think here... I haven't had the monkey. There's the monkey. Yes, this is more tropical. Monkey is appropriate. There we go. That'll do. Right, arch cannon.
I performed that ritual countless times, and it never exploded in my face before. If I discover that you sabotaged the divination... No. I shouldn't take my failure out on you. It's not your fault that things are... difficult.
Why, thank you. By difficult, you mean Lord Vivec's loss of power?
How do you know about... Lord Vivec told you? Of course he did. It's his prerogative, I suppose. You must swear to keep this secret, though. There would be panic in the streets if the people believed one of the tribunal was incapacitated.
Of course. Lord Vivec said you might need help investigating the source of the problem.
It's true. I'm much better at scholarly pursuits than field work. And the ritual wasn't a total failure. It confirmed 3 locations from my earlier studies. Balmora, Aldrin, and Berelzar's tower. I need you to investigate each of these sites.
Tell me about these locations before I head out, please.
I researched what I could using the resources available here in Vivec City. To learn more, I need an agent to personally assess each location. Lord Vivec thinks you're the best one for that job. I hope he's right.
Fair enough. Can you tell me anything about Berelzar's tower?
I believe the mage seen in the ritual is Berelzar, who works out of an ancient Velothi tower. His experiments radiate energy similar to Vivec's affliction, but they're not a perfect match. Find out what he knows about the transfer of divine energy.
What can you tell me about Balmora?
House Redoran controls the town and nearby mines. House Halalu also has interests in the region. Rumors of a cult in the area concern me the most. I believe we saw a cultist during the ritual. Make discreet inquiries and see what you can learn.
What kind of cult are we talking
I
about?
have no idea. That's why we're sending you. I suggest you start at the inn. Secrets get spilled along with the drinks in such places. The miners may know something as well. I've heard that House Redoran has issued some kind of proclamation.
And what do you know about Aldrin?
Savage Ashlanders, like the one seen in the vision, use the area as a tribal meeting ground. These nomadic heretics deny the divinity of the tribunal and have no love for Vivec. But how they could be involved eludes me. See what you can uncover.
Is there anything else I should know?
I traced tendrils of Vivec's energy to these locations, and the ritual confirmed the connection before it went awry. Just don't discuss Lord Vivec's condition with anyone. We don't want to start a panic. If anything changes here, I'll contact you.
Okay, goodbye for now. Right. Okay. So that's Balmora. That's Barrelzar's tower. And that's Ordrun, or well, however you pronounce it. One thing seems clear though. It would probably be best to start there, come this way, and then there. So given that, let's head out here, make our way up, and then we can make our way along the road here, and then we will go cross country. I am liking this. Okay, cool. We've got a sight to see. Yes, yes, I don't want to hurt you. Be on your way, and hurting you will not be necessary. What's here then? Yes, yes. Cool. Another way shrine. That'll be useful. Rain. Oh, that's a bit of a dampener on things. Right, so we'll follow this road. This is where I hope this place isn't full of enemies. That does not appear to be.
Not you too. This is ridiculous.
I'm sorry, Talenra, but my wife and...
What is it?
Right.
Help! Someone, please help!
Sorry, important business. For a living god. No time. I will come back and do all of the side quests, although it will take me ages. But if I was doing all of the side quests in the game, I would probably have just finished, as I went, I would probably have just finished the malady Dominion main story and not even finished the main story quests or Orsinium yet. Whoa. Right, so first things first, we've got a way shrine here. Molagma. Alright, cool. So we want to basically head east. I would rather stay on my horse if possible, although I'm not going to turn down known route. Yes, here we have no choice. But we're on the right side now. Okay. We need to investigate Barrelzar's tower. Oh, those will be the other locations a long way away, so I need to find the tower around here. Well, you would expect it would be easier to see something that's called a tower. Ah, now there. This looks to be the place. The inner sanctum is barred to us. Okay. Here we go. Now, before we do anything, let us check if we have food up. We do. Cool. so-called Velofi Towers were built by the Kaimer in the early days when Morrowind was known as Resdan. Many of these remote outposts have been occupied by hermits, wizards and others who value their privacy, including the mage Barrelzar. Clockwork mage indeed, on extending existence. Seeking to extend a natural lifespan. It notes that the tribunal alone get to be immortal. Personal student to Sofa Seal. Okay.
Oh, such displeasure and disappointment. Nothing works, even though every calculation is precise. Now an interruption. How infuriating. Wait. Sometimes the great gear turns from frustration to opportunity.
Do you know anything about divine energy?
Divine energy. I'll have you know I participated in Lord Sofa Seal's 9 analyses of the exalted enigmas. But we have more important matters. I'm about to determine the correlation between color and time, and I could use another set of hands.
If I help, will you answer my questions?
A reciprocal exchange. Interesting, yes. I can see the benefits of such an arrangement. Very well. Just activate the crystals in the proper sequence while I modulate the energy flow. Less chance of an explosion that way.
What do you want me to do again?
Such a waste repeating words. Activate the crystals in the proper order. It's all about colors, like a rainbow. Make a mistake and reset the mechanism using that lever, unless it explodes. You'd be surprised how often that happens.
Like a rainbow, got it. So, red, blue, yellow, purple, green. Okay.
A good start. Keep going. Smoke instead of light. Not the reaction I was hoping for. No. Reset the mechanism and try again.
Of course, I can't remember what the colours would be.
Going. So far, so good. Like clockwork you are. Good. Activating, but not in the proper sequence. Try again.
I do rather like this. Rather cool.
A good start. Keep going. So far, so good. Like clockwork you are. Close, very close. One more to go. Yes, I love it when the gears align.
Sweet.
Perfect. Such are the benefits of an extra set of appendages. The energy flows freely and without disruption, allowing the rods and the pistons to align in a most pleasing manner. Thank you. Now, why do you want to know about divine energy?
Well, I was sent to ask you about the transfer of divine energy.
Sent? How intriguing. I was just thinking about my former master, Sofa Seal, and the experiments we conducted. He desperately sought to understand the power he and his companions attained, especially whether or not that power was temporary.
Did Sofa Seal reach a conclusion?
Not while I assisted him. He had a tool that he used to drain away minute bits of his own divine energy to store and study. He could extract it and return it as he saw fit. Not sure what became of the tool, but here are my notes from those days.
These notes should be helpful. Can I ask you a few more questions?
More questions? Well, Lord Sir Seal attributed curiosity to intellectual superiority. Suppose I should do the same. Ask, and I will attempt to tighten the cogs of your ongoing education as best I can.
The tool you mentioned, is it a weapon?
Odd question. Is a hammer a weapon? A saw? A Dwemer spring spanner? No, it was just a tool. A device crafted by Sir Seal to aid in his endless experiments. Suppose I could imagine ways to modify the device, but for what reason?
You know where the tool is now?
Haven't a clue. Tools have a way of wandering off when you don't stay vigilant. Had a guar that used to swallow tools when I wasn't looking. Glowed for a month until the enchantment dissipated and the tool passed. Should have heard the screams.
You worked with Sir Seal.
I was his apprentice, but that was years ago. Spent time working in the Clockwork City. That's what I learned about energy transference, Dwemer engineering, mechanical symmetry. Made me the dark elf I am today. I have a question. Who sent you?
Archcanon Tarvis sent me.
The Archcanon? Lord Vivec's High Priest? Suddenly the gears align. I can think of a number of reasons that Alm and V would want to know about C and his tools, but some doors just shouldn't be opened.
Tell me more about Sir Seal.
He's the father of mysteries and the architect of time, one of the tribunal, the three living gods of the Dark Elves. Creates all sorts of helpful and intriguing devices, like the Clockwork City. I haven't seen my old master in many years.
What's the Clockwork City?
It's a wonder and a miracle. All brass tunnels, glass domes, and giant gears. He was inspired by the work of the Dwemer. The Clockwork City is pure Sir Seal. He made it to forge the future and reshape the world. I learned a lot there.
Right. Cool. Right. We have a ways to journey, and I have no desire to journey unnecessarily. So, we now know that there was a device that could be used to drain divine energy. My guess is a cult here is making use of that device to drain the energy from Lord Vivec. How this fits in, I don't know, but if you wanted to set something like that up, you might want to do it in a secure location, and a place populated by people who hate the tribunal might be such a location. Now, before we head anywhere, let's go and see the Shrine of Azura. I wish you wouldn't do that. If you get too annoying, I may have to do something about it. You wouldn't like it if I did something about it. Trust me, you wouldn't like it. Right, I think that's probably the closest, but we'll just have to backtrack a little bit and take that road. Definitely a storm coming. Here we go, this is the path we want. Ooh. The crafting station. Where is the crafting station? Well, I'll find that another time.
You there, Outlander. I have a proposition for you.
Not right now, thank you. Right, I need to investigate Balmora.
I can't believe they want us to go outside the house to find Vaya.
Here we go. An inn. House Redorian Proclamation. By order of the House Guard and the Redorian High Council, the Shulk ore mine is closed and all operations towards reopening the mine have been suspended. Workers should stay away until further notice, and visitors are strongly cautioned to avoid the area on pain of fine, or imprisonment, or both. This includes you, Crew Chief Hondorf. Note that every effort shall be made to locate the missing mine workers as soon as possible. Missing mine workers? Well now. Hello.
I love seeing new faces. For a while, it was just the same old miners and the occasional travelling merchant. Thought Caroline might have to shut this place down. Look at me talking your ears off. What can I get you?
Any idea why visitors have been
At
scarce?
first, I assumed it was the usual house squabbles. Redoran and Hlalu arguments can get pretty heated. Then I thought maybe the Ashlanders were scaring people off. But after that proclamation... No, I'd rather not talk about that with a stranger.
Maybe if I were to pay you for your trouble?
I like the colour of your gold, Outlander. Just between us, I heard the House Guard shut down the Shulk ore mine. Something to do with violent cultists who attacked the miners and took over the place. Even got the crew chief, or so I heard.
Okay. So, crew chief. Crew chief is this way then.
Ow! Stupid dog. What happened? Let me see.
I just tried to pet it. Damn dog bit me. Leave it alone.
Here we go.
You shouldn't be here. Didn't you read the House Redoran Proclamation? I wouldn't be here myself, but some of my miners are still in there.
Can you tell me what happened in the mine?
Our mine was invaded by violent cultists. They showed up and just took the place over. My people are trapped. I'm no expert, but it looked like the cultists were preparing to conduct a ritual before the Ashlander interrupted them.
Why do you think the cultists are conducting a ritual?
Probably because I heard one of them say, "With this ritual we'll call forth a mystical weapon and attain the power of a god." Or something along those lines. Look, I was just trying to get me and my miners out of there when the Ashlander showed up.
An Ashlander interrupted the cultists.
Well, I never actually saw an Ashlander, but I heard a cultist yell, "Ashlander thief! That's our mystical weapon!" That's not an exact quote, but you get the idea. I don't know what happened after that. I was kind of busy trying not to die.
That's fair enough. What kind of mine is Shulk?
It used to be an ore mine, and we hope it will be again. My crew was inside preparing to start up mining operations when the cultists attacked. The way things are going, we might just have to turn the place into another Kwama egg mine.
I'll go into the mine and see what I can find out.
That's awfully brave of you. If you see any of my miners, tell them to get their arses out here. I'll wait as long as I can. Or until I hear screaming. Then I'll go to Palmyra and try to find some help. Good luck in there.
Oh, they'll be screaming, but not for the reasons you're thinking. A narcotic cult, I'm not sure who they are, but one of them who came to town for provisions was muttering something about his rueful acts. Okay. Right. I see.
Eyes to the shadows, brothers and sisters. Thieves lurk nearby.
Red Exile instructions. My Red Exiles, I need you to infiltrate the mind outside Balmora and recover an item of great importance to our venerated cause and to the elevation of Ashlanders everywhere. Currently this item resides in the possession of the narcotic cult, who plan to conduct a ritual in the mind to grant them the ability to channel unfathomable power. Let the cultists begin the process, but acquire the item before they complete the ritual. The item lies in one of the deep chambers of the mind, most likely heavily guarded. Sneak in and steal the item. It has the appearance of a staff made of metal and gears. It is necessary to advance to the next stage of our cherished cause. Get the staff and bring it to me, and you will be one step closer to ending your exile and returning to the fold. Interesting. Not seeing any miners. The guess is that would have been Sophocle's device.
How bad is it? Can the High Priestess replace the item?
I can't believe they stole our holy relic.
This mine belongs to us now!
Yeah, no, the mine does not belong to you at all. Nope, nope. Not happening. We go out the way we came in then. Thank you for the souls. That was certainly a bit easier than it would have been if other people hadn't been clearing some of the mobs out. I don't think I'd have had too much difficulty, but there would have been more going on. And why does that look like a moonlet descending to crash into a city?
Did you find what you were looking for in the mine?
I'm not sure. I need to consult with my contact.
Of course. I perfectly understand. I think I'll wait a little longer and see if any of my miners were able to escape from the cultists. Good luck with your mission. Whatever it is.
Hey. Would be better to stick to the roads. We need to cross this river.
Come, have a drink with me.
No, thank you. That's quite impressive.
I demand to see my brother. Lay hands upon me, and you will lose them. You there! The territory of the Red Exiles shouldn't be traveled lightly.
Ooh.
Ashlanders once respected each other, helped one another. You'd think these were house wolves or tribunal dogs, the way they treated me. Speaking of the tribunal, you have the smell of dog about you. I wonder why that is.
I'm looking into something for Lord Vivec.
Lord Vivec, is it? And I thought all the tribunal cared about was building monuments to their own greatness. Nice to see that one of them cares about what's going on beyond their borders. Well, perhaps we can aid each other this day, Outlander.
What kind of help do you need?
Ashlanders are nomads, but we gather at sacred sites to trade, confer, and pay homage to the past. Aldrin is such a place. That's why Chodala invited the Red Exiles here. But these outcasts won't let me into their camp. I need to find my brother.
Who's your brother?
My brother, Chodala, is the Ashkan of our tribe, and I am his ambassador. I act as a go-between among the tribes. Chodala wants to unite the Dunmer and calmly end the era of the bickering houses. He hopes to convince the tribes to follow his lead.
So what do you need me to do?
Head into the Red Exiles camp and find my brother. Otherwise, see if you can find out what he was doing in there and where he's gone. Be wary of the outcasts. As you saw, they won't hesitate to attack without reason or provocation.
Your brother rules over the Ashlander tribes?
No, just our tribe, the Urshilaku, though he's respected by most of the other Ashlanders for his wisdom and strength of will. He does hope to unite the tribes in a common cause, however. That's one of the reasons we've gathered here at Aldrin.
Tell me more about Chodala.
My brother and I have always worked to help our people and improve the Ashlander way of life. He used to believe that peaceful negotiation was the best path to accomplish this. Recently, however, things have become different. He's almost like...
Like what?
No, that's not something I'm ready to talk about with an outsider. Perhaps after you prove your trustworthiness and willingness to help us, then we can discuss my brother in more detail. Perhaps.
You said Chodala wants to unite the tribes. Are you planning to go to war?
That's not our goal, but the tribes will defend themselves if necessary. No, we hope to present a united front and show the houses the folly of the path they've embarked upon. Turning away from our forefathers and god ancestors has made them weak.
Tell me more about the Red Exiles.
The Red Exiles? They're violent, dangerous Ashlanders who were banished from their tribes and joined together to create their own clan. Chodala invited them to the gathering and went into their camp to talk, but he's been gone too long. I'm worried.
You think I'll have to fight my way through the camp?
As you saw, hostility is second nature to the Red Exiles. We're here to negotiate, but they're no better than thieves and murderers. If they spot you in their camp, you'll need to defend yourself. It's unfortunate, but they'll leave you no choice.
I suspect the chances are the place has been pretty cleared out by other people, so... Yeah, it must have been. Meeting with Chodala. Notes on the meeting with Chodala, Era Vereen and wielder of Sunarar, compiled by scribe Dakin. Bond would greet Ashkan Chodala as... okay. Chodala displayed no fear and showed a level of respect ready given to tribal outcasts. We had lent him the use of a small war band of Red Exiles, but now he was here to negotiate a more permanent arrangement. Chodala began the meeting by explaining these tribes' tribal unification, stressing that there was a place for the Red Exiles in his unified vision. Bundor demanded to know why the Red Exiles should even consider returning to the tribes that banished them. Chodala appeared thoughtful before he replied, "Because you are Ashlanders and our blood calls one to another." When Chodala demonstrated the power of the staff our warband helped him acquire, he called the staff Sunarar. Sunarar grants me the strength of a god, Chodala said, striking a stone with the tip of the staff so that the stone cracked like the shell of an egg. Bundor ordered this champion to put the blasphemous Ashkeen in his place, but no matter how many times his sword lashed out, he never once touched or pierced Chodala's flesh. "What kind of creature are you?" "I am the Neravine," Chodala proclaimed. The Red Exiles shall be my enforcers, and Yas Shatan shall be my champion. Prepare yourselves for my return, I have much work to do. So her brother is definitely up to no good.
You seem to have survived your visit to the Red Exiles camp. Did you find my brother?
No, but I found this record of his meeting with the Red Exiles leader.
Interesting. I never suspected that the outcasts were disciplined enough to keep records such as this. Oh no. I can't believe my brother would be so brazen.
He called himself the Nerevarine. Do you know what that means?
It means that Chodala really has changed. With his newfound powers and rising ambitions, I fear what he plans for the tribes. I suppose you have a right to know what I'm talking about. Take this. I found it among my brother's possessions.
Another scroll. Did Chodala write this?
Chodala discovered new power out in the wilderness, and it changed his view of the world. He writes about it in that document. Now he believes he's the Nerevarine, and incites the tribes, while I try to keep them all from doing anything rash.
What's the Nerevarine?
You don't know? I thought... No, you're not an Ashlander, and the House Elves rarely talk about such things. Long ago, there was a hero named Nerevar. He fought alongside the Tribunal, before they claimed to be gods, until they betrayed him.
Tribunal betrayed Nerevar?
So our legends say. Nerevar united the Kaima, and forged an alliance with the Dwemer. He died at the Battle of Red Mountain. We believe the Tribunal hastened his demise, despite Vivec's claims to the contrary.
But where does the Nerevarine fit into all that?
The Nerevarine is a promise and a prophecy. We believe that, through the power of Azura, Nerevar will return to unite all Dunmer, House and Ashlander alike, and make Morrowind great again. The returned Nerevar will be known as the Nerevarine.
You don't believe Chodala's claim?
While the prophecy of the Nerevarine can be interpreted as the end of the Tribunal, I have always seen it as a prediction of hope and peace. Chodala and some Ashlanders, such as the Red Exiles, favor war. That's not the Nerevarine I believe in.
You think Chodala wants a war?
He uses an Ashkon's words to plant dark ideas in his followers. Ideas that speak of false gods, lost traditions, and the need for a cleansing war. His words become more forceful every day, but I hope to dissuade him from this violent course.
Tell me about Chodala's new power.
All I know is that his new power frightens me. Chodala returned from a sojourn in the wilderness more vibrant, more commanding. He's always been strong, but now he's fearless, practically invincible, and swifter than the fastest Ashlander scout.
What do you think is the source of Chodala's new power?
Chodala says his new abilities strengthen his claim as the Nerevarine. I think it's the staff he carries. He had it when he returned, and now it's always at his side. I know it's unreasonable, but I hate that staff. He calls it Sunara.
Turn to the Archcannon's office. Right you are.
This requires a considerable amount of effort, so just listen. We have a problem here. Return to my office immediately.
Ooh, you projected. Right you are, Archcannon. Right you are.
You helped the clan mother retake Orentia. Right moves, and well done.
Aye, that I did.
At last. Did you see what's happening outside? Red Mountain rumbles louder and more frequently. The sky grows dark, and worst of all, the people are beginning to notice. Soon I'll have to muster the Ordinators to keep them from the palace doors.
Is that the emergency? The people want to see Lord Vivec?
In part. Lord Vivec is not well. I won't allow his followers to see him in this state. He continues to lose energy, and it's becoming difficult for him to maintain the realm in his usual fashion. Now, what did your investigations uncover?
I investigated the 3 locations. Here's what I
I'll
learned.
review these documents and present your findings to Lord Vivec. I was against bringing you into this investigation, but I was wrong. Thank you for aiding us. You should go see Lord Vivec now. He's been asking about you. I'll be along shortly.
You're going to just read the notes? I thought we could discuss what I learned.
Very well. Tell me what you learned at each of the locations, and let's see what conclusions we can come to.
Barrelzar told me about Sophisil's experiments with divine energy. He gave me his notes.
Barrelzar faithfully served Sothisil. He's as loyal to the Tribunal as I am. He would never intentionally harm Lord Vivec. But that tool he mentioned... Perhaps one of the priests Vivec sent away could search the temple archives for more information.
Vivec sent away all his priests?
Lord Vivec doesn't want his followers to see him in such a weakened state. Only you, Canon Levuel, and myself are permitted into his palace now. Speaking of the palace, Lord Vivec wants to see you when we're done here.
Okay, and cultists took over the mine outside Balmora.
From what you discovered, I dare say there may be a correlation between the narcotic relic and the tool Barrelzar mentioned. And it seems the Ashlander thieves are connected to Chodala. Your evidence points to a clear conclusion.
And Chodala is using SilmarUK to steal Vivec's divine energy.
So it appears. Lord Vivec's doing his best not to complain, but I can see how much the draining of his energy has cost him. Just seeing you again should improve his mood considerably. And the progress you made with your investigations, outstanding.
An Ashlander named Chodala has been inciting the
So
tribes.
your notes say, and this Saren assisted you. Interesting. Most Ashlanders want nothing to do with the Tribunal. Even so, they rarely become aggressive. I'd say this Chodala bears watching. If we can spare it, I'll send an armiger to Aldrin.
Chodala's newfound power might have something to do with Vivec's problem.
Interesting theory. Perhaps Chodala's staff can steal Vivec's energy. But I have a hard time imagining how an Ashlander could accomplish such a feat. Lord Vivec said the draining has grown more intense since you left. It doesn't look well.
Okay.
Lord Vivec needs to do something. Look at that sky!
Lord Vivec isn't receiving visitors today.
Ooh. Yeah, it is changing. Isn't receiving visitors. Loads of players are in there.
Please, let me send for aid. Perhaps one of the healers can help you.
Pain is best tolerated in private, as I have written in the 37th ballad.
There must be something I can do.
You can call the Archcanon. He should hear the news our friend brings us. The river drains into the sea as my divinity flows out of me. Need some work. As you can see, I continue to lose energy, and it has made me somewhat agitated. Have you made any progress toward discovering the source of my discomfort?
I think that an Ashlander named Chodala might be responsible for your condition.
An Ashlander? That seems unlikely, but I trust your instincts. We need to find out more about this Chodala and the ancient enemy that aids him. Take this. Another token of my appreciation. And look, here comes the Archcanon now.
My lord, the Outlander may have actually discovered something.
Why, thank you.
After further examination of the documents you brought back, I have to agree with your assessment. The Ashlander Chodala has somehow siphoned divine energy away from Lord Vivec.
So you know how to restore Lord Vivec's power?
Not exactly. But now that we know that the affliction isn't natural, we can work toward a solution. One that probably involves Chodala's staff. How the Ashlander got his hands on Sothasil's tool and turned it into a weapon is beyond me, though.
You want me to acquire the staff called SilmarUK?
Eventually, but we need to be cautious. If Chodala is as respected as you say, attacking him would start a war we can't afford to partake in. Go to Aldrin and talk to his sister, Saren. I don't trust her either, but she worked with you before.
I'll go talk to Saren.
Get to Aldrin and locate Saren. She needs to tell us more about Chodala and then help us acquire his staff. Without it, we can't restore Vivec. Meanwhile, I need to placate the populace. The people grow concerned over Vivec's continuing isolation.
Does make sense. What's happening to Vivec again?
Didn't we cover this? Let me refresh your memory. Lord
Okay.
Vivec suffers...
I know all of that. That's just slightly too steep. I don't want to just be wasting my money. I'll do it for 3. There we go. Teleport for 3. Oh. I do need to be careful here because there are guards.
Outlander, quickly! This way!
There you are.
I've been thinking about my brother's claim that he's the Nerevarine since we last spoke. No matter how I try, the word tastes false on my tongue. And now I fear he's about to convince the wise woman that his quest for power will benefit the tribes.
What can I do to help?
My brother is respected and revered. He has allies in all of the tribes, not to mention his personal Red Exiles. We have to proceed with caution. Respect the Ashlander customs and traditions. Anything else will lead to violence and bloodshed.
So what do we do?
We talked to my brother. Tried to convince him this isn't the way. Barring that, we make sure the wise woman doesn't get drawn into his madness. Whatever Chodala says or does, don't attack him. We don't need a war between the houses and the Ashlanders.
I'll follow your lead.
The wise woman. I was hoping she'd be here.
You're too late, dear sister. Despite your protestations, the wise woman has gone to the Cave of the Incarnate to confirm my claim.
Brother, do you really want to pursue this dangerous course?
There was a time when you gave me your unconditional support, Saren. I miss those days.
My brother Chodala's about to do something foolish and dangerous. But by dusk and dawn, Azura put you and I on the same path for a purpose. I just hope we have enough time.
What's Chodala going to do?
He's about to claim the title of the Nerevarine and try to unite the Ashlander tribes gathered here. He already convinced the Red Exiles to support him. He's using them to intimidate the other tribes. If he persuaded the Wise Woman to his cause...
Tell me about the Wise Woman.
Wise Woman Dovrasi, the most respected counselor and spirit guide this side of Red Mountain. She went to the Cavern of the Incarnate to meditate on Chodala's claim. If she confirms my brother's assertion, the tribes will follow wherever he leads.
We need to talk to the wise woman.
Agreed,
then.
but I dare not leave Chodala alone with the tribes. I feel the hand of Azura in all this. Go to the Cavern of the Incarnate and talk to the wise woman. I'll stay here and try to keep things under control until you return.
I will head to the cavern then.
The cavern's to the northeast of Aldrin, on the other side of the mountain. Hopefully, the rumbling and lava won't slow you down too much. Get to the cavern and talk to the wise woman. If she accepts Chodala's claim about the Nerevarine...
Mm-hmm. I know the rest of those, so that's okay. Yaza. That's a little way away. I'm not sure
she
that
won't refuse
traversing...
my claim. Just in case, make sure the Red Exiles are ready.
Your word is law, Nerevarine.
Interesting. Possible to traverse the mountain? No, it doesn't really look like it. There's a lot of lava out there, so we need to be careful which way we go.
Ah, a fellow outsider in this inhospitable sea of ash. I wonder if we might help each other.
Cool. Alright, long way round it is. get out of the way. Okay. Nice. Right, let's get to there. There we go. We need to get to that path. Cool. Yep, we've done it. Oh, impressive. Not much of a road, really, is it? Right. Another way shrine. Cool, we'll take that. Here we go.
Azura is my shield, you foul creatures. Thank you for aiding me. But I sense you came for a different purpose. Let's talk inside the cavern.
Cool. Cavern of the Incarnate. Fate is the book that she writes in to inscribe our worth and deserts. Or by our acts do we earn her regard or disdain and read our destiny in her prophecy.
An outlander? Surely there must be another way. No, my lady, of course not. I'll do as you ask. Come here, outlander. We must talk. It feels strange to talk to an outlander in such a sacred place, but the Queen of the Night Sky insists. I need to render judgment on an important claim, and she says you can help me reach the correct decision.
This is about Chodola and the Nevervarine, right?
Words of truth from the mouth of an outlander. Remarkable. The Red Exiles and a few others believe that Chodola is the Nevervarine. He's convinced them, but not me. I came here to consider my options. I fear a bloodbath if I oppose his claim.
Isn't there a way to prove he's not the Nevervarine?
Perhaps, but I must remain impartial. If someone else reveals the flaws in Chodola's claims by comparing him to the failed incarnates, that might do the trick.
The failed incarnates?
We thought the incarnates were possessed by the spirit of Nerevar, but each had a critical flaw that made them destined to fail to fulfill the prophecy. Their spirits reside here. Yes, you should speak to the incarnates. I see Azura's wisdom now.
How do I talk to the spirits of the incarnate?
Take this pouch of blessed grave dust. Sprinkle a pinch upon the bones of the incarnates to call forth their spirits. Return to Aldrin after you have learned all you can. Perhaps we can curb Chodola's ambitions before they lead us to war. We need knowledge to defeat Chodola, Outlander. Listen well to what the failed incarnates have to say. Once I was the hope of my people, but then my claim was proven false. Now I wait, and I hope for the Nerevarion's return. State your question, Outlander, and I shall do as Azura urges.
They decided you weren't the Nevervarian. Why?
To fulfill the prophecy, I followed a path of blood and war. In the end, my path became a road that led nowhere, and I was cast down from my lofty spot. Take my scroll, and help the wise woman understand the futility of a senseless war.
The Nerevarine remains a promise unfulfilled, and I am as guilty of prideful posturing as every other failed incarnate that occupies this hall. Ask your question and let's be done with this, Outlander.
What ended your quest to become the Nevervarian?
The Nerevarine must listen as well as proclaim. I refused to accept wise counsel, which led to the doom of my tribe and the end of my quest to embody the spirit of Nerevar. Take my scroll and remind the wise woman that wisdom ignored is ignorance.
are the failed incarnates. The Ashlanders, who proudly proclaimed themselves to be the Nerevarine, but were found wanting. The Lady of Dawn and Dusk urged us to cooperate. So ask your question, Outlander.
What flaw made you to fail to fulfill the prophecy?
Take my scroll, and help the wise woman see the lie of unbridled power. I thought myself the reborn Nerevar, for I was the strongest, most powerful warrior in all the land. But power alone won't save my people. In the end, it couldn't even save me.
Mortal, let us speak. I foresaw your usefulness before you even set foot in Vardenfell. Now comes a test that will challenge your ability to separate truth from lies. You must convince the tribes that Chodola is not the Nerevarine.
I commune with the incarnates just as the wise woman commanded.
Doversee's wisdom outshines most other mortals. She recognizes the futility of Chodola's claim. If she rebuffs him, however, the tribes will turn on each other, and blood will flow. The staff, Sunra, it makes Chodola confident, reckless.
The staff is the source of Chodola's power?
Your instincts serve you well. Chodola's path took a dark turn. However, my sight clouds when I look too closely. Sothasil built Sunra, but he did not create it with this vile purpose in mind. You must act on my behalf, and Vivec's.
I'll do what you ask.
Then go. Return to Aldrun and help the wise woman reveal the falsehood of Chodola's claim. And let Saren assist you. She is my champion and a trusted friend of all Ashlanders.
Why are you helping Vivec? I thought you and the Tribunal were enemies.
Helping that arrogant imposter? Whatever gave you the idea that I was helping that murderer? Vardenfell must stand. Everything I do in this regard serves that single goal. Best that you remember that, mortal.
How do I prove that Chodola isn't the Nerevarine?
Use what the Incarnate shared with you. Their failures point the way toward Chodola's downfall. But beware Chodola's power. He may not be the Nerevarine, but some greater agency has lent strength to his conviction.
And why don't you simply reveal the truth to the Ashlanders?
Due to an ancient pact, I am not permitted to interfere in the affairs of Nirn. Even this casual discussion pushes the boundaries of that agreement. Instead, I must work through trusted agents, such as yourself and Saren.
Okay. Way shrine to Ray Shrine, I think. Oh, that's pretty. Very pretty. Right, let's teleport. Okay. Let's see if we can get this one.
Thank the moon and star. You've returned. The wise woman returned from the cavern of the Incarnate and went right into Scar to meet with the tribes. Chodal is in there too, about to be named the Nerevarine. Tell me you came back with something to stop my brother's rise to power.
I spoke to some of the Incarnates and they gave me these scrolls.
Of course. Use the tales of the failed Incarnates to counter Chodal's arguments. That's brilliant. Well, except for one problem.
Problem?
An Outlander has no status in the Council. The Ashlanders won't listen to a word you say. Someone else has to present the arguments. Someone they trust. I suppose that means I have to challenge my brother. With your help, of course.
How can I help you if I can't talk during the council?
You spoke to the Incarnates, not me. I'm familiar with their stories, but I'll need you to help me choose the appropriate argument to counter each of Chodala's claims. I hate opposing my brother in this. I just don't see another way.
When should I give you Incarnate Ranso's scroll?
Incarnate Runso was strong and powerful. He thought that by strength alone, he could unite the Ashlanders. He failed. When Chodala proclaims his power, that's when we'll refer to this scroll's sad tale.
When should I give you Incarnate Dory's scroll?
Incarnate Adiri was a champion of my people. She defended us against great threats. But when she grew to love war for war's sake, she proved she wasn't the Nerevarine. When Chodala proclaims that war is the answer, hand me this scroll.
And when should I give you Incarnate Danart's scroll?
Incarnate Danart thought his way was the best way. He rejected the counsel of the Wise Women and the Ashkans, something Nerevar would never do. When Chodala proclaims he knows better than anyone, we'll use this scroll.
Alright, let's go.
Meet me inside.
Must we continue this farce? It's obvious that I'm the Nerevarine.
Someone has stepped forward to challenge your claim, Chodala.
Seren, I'm disappointed in you, dear sister.
Enough. I shall hear your arguments and render my decision.
Even the Outlander can see that I'm the most powerful Ashkan. My strength alone proves that I am the Nerevarine.
Chodala puts forth his great strength as proof of his claim. Give me the scroll that discounts such a trait for the Nerevarine. Yes, that's a sound argument. Incarnate, appear!
As a warrior and as an Ashkan, I was the most powerful of my age. But for all my strength, I failed my people. Don't follow my example.
The faithless houses dare to threaten our land, but we shall meet them in battle, and I will lead us to victory.
This is more nerve-wracking than I anticipated. Which scroll do you recommend to counter this argument? That makes sense. I'll try that. Incarnate, appear!
I thought the path to the Nerevarine was a path of blood and battle, but my love of war was my undoing. War is not the way.
These failed incarnates prove nothing! I need no counsel but my own, as befits my status as the Nerevarine.
I think it's working. One more strong assertion, and that should do it. Of course. Let's see what happens. Incarnate, appear!
I refuse to accept the counsel of the wise women and the Ashkans. I thought I knew best, but I knew nothing. That is not the way of the Nerevarine.
Seren and the Outlander, their arguments have merit. Chodala, we deny your claim. You are not the Nerevarine.
This proves nothing! Look how the staff protects me! I am the Nerevarine! Red Exiles, slay the
Brother,
unbelievers!
no!
Mistake, guys.
For Chodala! For the Nerevarine!
Alright, we need a 45 mil first. That went well.
Go to my hut and get my healer's sack. Now.
Right away, wise woman. I hate what my brother's become.
Mortal, I would have words with you. Chodala has been revealed as a failed Nerevarine, but that hasn't dissuaded him from his reckless course of action. As long as he wields the staff, he shall be unstoppable.
So what should we do?
Time is against you, mortal. Even now, Vivec, that pompous usurper, grows increasingly weaker. As much as I deplore him, Vivec cannot fall to Chodala's vile magic. There's another power I think here. One I can't quite put my finger on.
There must be something I can do.
Return to Vivec City. Do what you can to aid Vivec, and pay heed to my faithful vessel, Saren. I name her Champion of the Moon and Star. She will play a pivotal role in ending her brother's march toward godhood, if she survives.
I'll return to Vivec City.
That was exhilarating.
Yeah, you're promoted. Big style. Right. Okay.
Lord Vivec, protect us.
Pull yourself together. You're a buoyant armature for Vivec.
As a god weakens, so too does his city suffer. I know my people grow fearful. Even the Archcanon is distressed. But the energy that remains to me holds the moonlit in the sky. At least for now. So what news does my eyes and ears bring to me?
We discredited Chodler as the Nevermarine, but he escaped with the Sunara.
How this upstart Ashlander learned to attune Sotha Seal's tool confounds my understanding. And he dares use my power? Still, your help is appreciated. Every strike and parry takes us one step closer to ending this threat and restoring my vitality.
Ooh, it's a nice set.
Due to Lord Vivec's condition, it falls upon us to find a solution.
I think we will equip that.
Lord Vivec must conserve his remaining energy, so we need to solve this problem on our own. It all comes back to Chodler. That damned Ashlander's draining the warrior poet's power. We need to stop him and get that damned staff.
Sunara makes Chodler invulnerable. How do we circumvent the staff?
How should I know? That's not a skill the Tribunal teaches. Return to Barrelzar's tower and get Sotha Seal's former apprentice to come up with some kind of countermeasure. I'm sure he knows more than he's told you. I do have one concern, though.
This one concern?
You see right through me, Outlander. I have more worries than a Quama Queen has eggs. I'm talking about Chodler's sister. Saren claims to want to help, to want peace, but I don't trust her. Seek out Barrelzar, but be wary of the Ashlander's sister.
I will return to Barrelzar's tower and see if he knows how we can circumvent Chodler's staff.
We need to stop Chodler, and to do that, we need to find a way to overcome the device he's wielding. Find Barrelzar and make sure that crazy mage provides you with something we can use to save Lord Vivec.
Can we be certain that the staff is required to save Lord Vivec?
Is the bull sure it can bed the Betty? No. But by all accounts, we'll be better off with Sunara in our hands and away from Chodler. That won't be possible, however, as long as the Ashlander remains impervious to every attack.
Why don't you trust Saren?
The female Ashlander? Well, if that wasn't enough of a reason, remember that she's also Chodler's sister. Blood sings to blood, as the warrior poet so elegantly put it. Be wary of that one, Outlander. She'll stab you in the back, mark my words.
Why does Vivec's condition threaten Vardenfell?
Vivec loves this land, and the land loves him in return. He's always had a special bond with Vardenfell. Is it so hard to believe that Red Mountain reflects his suffering? Beyond that, There's also Bardao, the moonlet that floats above us.
Tell me about Bardao.
Lord Vivec's intervention stopped the moonlet from crashing into the city. He holds it above us by strength of will. But as he weakens, so too does the power that keeps the rock afloat. If Vivec's energy wanes further, it would spell disaster.
Okay. I got fined for that. Hardly seems fair.
Is someone up there? I could use some help down here.
Oh dear, have things gone wrong?
Hurry, please. I have a natural aversion to Daedra.
Whoa! Inappropriate touch it.
your feet and come inside. So hard to concentrate and maintain schedules when interruptions constantly occur. Don't they know the Great Gear never pauses in its rotations? So that was you up there. I appreciate the assistance. Daedric entities can be very unpredictable.
Why were Daedra attacking you?
Logic has very little place in the behavior of Daedra, my hopeful associate. Studying the fabric of reality does tend to attract unwanted attention. But these creatures appeared just before you entered my tower. I wonder, why have you returned?
I located Sofa Seal's tool, but it's been altered to steal Lord Vivec's divine energy.
Ah, a modification of my master's old experiments, turning a simple tool into a dangerous weapon. Ingenious! Evil, yes, but also quite brilliant. A tonal inverter should counter it. Uses sound waves to temporarily disrupt the flow of energy.
Do you have a tonal inverter I can use?
No, of course not. I just invented it. I need proper components to build such a device. My hirelings scour the land for materials all the time. Here's a list. Head out the back door and ask them to direct you to these common dwarven components.
I see. Where can I find these hirelings of yours?
Hirelings? Yes, they worked for me, before they quit, ungrateful netches. Still, I paid them well before the pistons slipped their alignments. I should know where to find the components. Last I heard, Snorfen and the others were in Molag Mar.
Do you think Daedra will return to trouble you?
The situation is wound dangerously tight, but I believe the gears revolve around you. Once you leave, I should be perfectly safe. Or at least as safe as I ever am in the midst of all these experiments. You, however, stay vigilant, my friend.
Can you tell me about these components you need me to
I
find?
could, but I won't pour 5-year-old Flynn into a cracked decanter. No offense. Suffice it to say, they're fairly common as far as Dwemer components go. Use the list and talk to my former hirelings. I'll build the device the moment you return.
Okay. Right. So I am going to bring things to a close there for today. Thanks folks for watching, and I will be back on hopefully Saturday at 4 PM with Elite Dangerous, and Sunday at 2 PM with more Elder Scrolls Online, and we'll get this tonal inverter sorted out. Those are UK times, but for now I'm going to bring things to a close and hopefully see folks again in future. Thank you.